So imagine you're driving down the coast of California, and there's 3 cars behind you, and all of a sudden this car comes whizzing by and just goes straight off the cliff that you're driving by. Now you're asking yourself, what the hell just happened? This guy just decided to go off a road. So you and the three other drivers of the car decide to go see what happened to the driver. And on the base of the cliff, you see that this driver is laying outside of his car, and he says, "There's $1 million hidden somewhere in California." Now, all 3 of you can either do 2 things. You can either work together and share the $1 million, or you can just ditch everybody and decide to get it all for yourself. So what do you decide to do? Well, in this world, people are rats. People tend to like to think of themselves as selfishly. And as Tomlin put it, the trouble with a rat race is that even if you win, you're still a rat. So in the end, when you finally decide, when everybody does all these terrible things just to get this $1 million, in the end, it ends up getting distributed around a crowd of people, and it's not even really $100 million or $1 million. The quote I'm using from is it's a madman world, otherwise known as rat race. And I'd like to talk to you about how in our society being a rat is kind of looked good about. I'm going to talk about lawyers, I'm going to talk about reality TV such as Survivor, and I'm going to talk about equality. Lawyers, they will do anything in the world to win their case, especially when they're defending some type of serial killer. They will do anything, and that's the way our system is set up. But the thing is that a rat is still a rat. I mean, no matter what you're doing, you could be the best defense lawyer in the world, you're still a rat. You're still, some type of terrible person. Now I'm going to talk about reality TV. Survivor. You can eat your own crap and win the $1 million. At the end of the day, you still ate your own crap just to win that $1 million. Was it really worth it? It doesn't make any sense at all. I'm going to talk about equality. Recently, yesterday, or 2 days ago, Proposition 8 was defeated. And it was a 50-50 tie, and it was very close. But the thing is, people that wanted it to pass and people that didn't want it to pass, there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of people trying to, they were using scare tactics. Like the yes, they were saying how, schools were going to be taught, gay marriage and all that stuff, which isn't really true. Even the teachers union, they came out against that commercial where they said that, gay marriage will never be taught in school unless you're like in, phys ed or something like that, in college or something like that. And then on the other side too, No on 8 was saying how they're being discriminated against, which they most likely are, but they can't compare themselves to being in, the black community where they were enslaved for, hundreds of years. It's not exactly the same. So they're both using these scare tactics to, get their point across. And in the end, it's just a rat race. They're both trying to be the best rat, and they're not trying to be the best human. And so that's where I'm going to conclude, is that we're all rats, and we need to be better humans. Thank you.
Ask if I can borrow this Scantron. Check it. It's so dumb.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I go to college.
So much good. Plus I got for it. We should get our class now.
Football too? Is he good at football too?
Like, I don't think he wants to go anywhere.
All right, Adam, the visualization's okay. It's a mad world was okay. I like that. Rat Race is based on it. Don't get the two confused, because they are slightly different, and I thought your description fit the first one better. It's a nice transition to the topic, and your point of view is pretty clear. I thought you had a very good setup of what the contents were going to be. Interestingly enough, you know, most of the time when people do these speeches, their first example is the strongest one, and then they get weaker as they go along. I thought yours went the other direction. I thought your opening example was not the strong one, but it's your last section that actually got to be the strongest. Although you were a little bit confused on some of the Prop 8 information, you know, about whether it passed or it didn't pass, that sort of thing. When you were talking about the particulars of the campaign and the way people were treating it, I thought you did develop that pretty well. Your presentation, your voice, it's a little, you've got kind of got excuse me, kind of got a quiet voice, and you sometimes tend to drop your voice a little bit for effect. But if you were speaking at a higher volume to start with, that would mean a little bit more. As it is, it just makes me strain a little bit more to hear you. You've got some okay gestures, but you want to get the pencil out of your hand so that you're not waving a baton while you're giving the speech. I thought your facial expressions were pretty vivid, especially on that second point that you were talking about. Your eye contact was solid. It's pretty well distributed. You step up into and kind of emphasize ideas a couple of times, and so the movement does seem excuse me, purposeful. The summary at the end was pretty clear. So structurally, I thought it was solid. Better development on the third point. Most of the presentation things are solid, kind of low-key, and wouldn't hurt you to have a little more energy. All right. Thank you. All right, I am a little creeped out that Juan has not come back.
My cause is defeated, that's all. I thought I was saying that, yeah.
Been too old, that time.